Welcome to the Plato Paradigm, a paradigm shift in reading Plato's dialogues. Episode 217, Lysis 210, C to D. If Lysis really takes to heart the question Socrates has been asking, he should by now feel resentful at the slaves and the hired hands who prevent him from doing what he wants in various technai where he is not an expert, to say the least. He is in fact quite incompetent, for example, at chariot racing. He is also controlled by his mother when it comes to weaving or spinning wool and other technai that Socrates hasn't mentioned. In reading and writing, however, his parents come to him first among the household when they want anything read or written. Socrates has framed these technai as if in them Lysis can do whatever he desires. We have to remember that Socrates is asking questions, and Lysis could have denied any of this, but he has agreed. So we should believe that Lysis now thinks that in any techne where he is an expert, or at least competent, he is free and can do whatever he desires, while in techne where he is completely incompetent, he is a slave to others. They tell him what to do, or rather what not to do most of the time. In addition to the aspect of mastery and slavery, we have the idea that when you are a master of a techne, the techne is yours. It becomes part of you, and it benefits you. While any techne in which you are incompetent is alien. All of it is alien and does not benefit. That is, does not benefit the one who is incompetent at that techne. All of this is nonsense, but Lysis agrees with it, and that is what is important. Lysis now has many reasons for learning technai. The moment he is competent at a techne, he becomes happy, free, blessed, and he will derive benefit from the techne, and his father will entrust that techne to him, followed by the rest of the world. As if that isn't incentive enough, Socrates now asks yet another question. Arun to philoi esomitha, kai tis hemas philese in tutois, en hoisan omen anophiles. Deta efe. Well then, will we be friends to someone, and will someone love us in those things in which we are unbeneficial? Not at all, he said. Nun ara udeseho pater ude allos allon udena phile kathosonan e achristos. Uke oiken efe. So then, even Father doesn't love you, nor does anyone love anyone else, inasmuch as one is useless. It doesn't seem so, he said. So much for mother and father loving Lysis very much, which started the whole of this argument, this line of questioning, just after Menexenus had left. Lysis was convinced that his parents loved him, but Socrates has been asking questions which may lead Lysis to question whether his parents actually love him. This all began with Socrates asking how anyone who wants their son to be happy could actually restrict them, which is what his parents do in all of those technai where he is incompetent. and they allow him to do what he wants only in those techne where he is competent, and the examples we were given were reading and writing. Since Lysis is the one who agrees to all of the questions Socrates asks, the leading questions, that's how he can agree to questions, the problems in understanding are those of Lysis, not Socrates. If Lysis links happiness with freedom and sees that his parents restrict him in techne where he is incompetent, this is an indication that they don't love him in those techne, while when they give him permission in techne where he is competent and he can do what he wants, which means that he then is happy, then that's when they do love him. Needless to say, this is a perverse view of philia, love. Also, needless to say, this is a very common view of friendship, that it's based on advantage. Socrates now draws the obvious conclusion. An men arasophos gene opai pantisoi philoi kai pantisoi oikeoi esontai chresimos gar kagathos esse. So if you become an expert, O child, all will be friends to you, and all will be familiar to you. The word I've translated as familiar is oikeoi, which we have already had in the last episode, where it was the opposite of alien or other. When one is an expert at a techne, the things of the techne become oikeia, part of oneself, because they become beneficial. The adjective oikeos is cognate with the noun oikos, home, house. Socrates then explains why everyone will be friends with Lysis, for you will be useful and good. It's very common in Socratic dialogues for good to slide into beneficial, but not all good things are beneficial. A statue is good, but only because it looks good, it's not beneficial, arguably. And useful can also slide into beneficial, which is also not the case. Useful can be useful for bad, but beneficial is only useful for good. Here we have the two extremes, useful and good, paired together as if what is good is useful, what is useful is good. But the main point is that Lysis, only because he is useful and good, will be a friend, or rather, all people will be friends with Lysis because he is useful and good, in other words, beneficial. Socrates then considers the opposite case. Edeme soi ute allos udes ute ho pater philos estai ute he meter ute hoi oikeoi. But if not, no one else will be a friend to you, not even the father or the mother or members of the household. The members of the household are the oikeoi, which we've already seen being used to mean familiar or one's own. It's as if Socrates is saying that if Lysis is not useful or good, then even the oikeoi will be alien. So the pressure is mounting for Lysis to become an expert in every techne. Socrates doesn't let up. Hoion teun epitutois o Lysi megaphronen en hois tis mepophrone. Gaipos an ephe. Is it possible for one to think big in these things, Lysis, in which one does not yet think? No, how is that possible, he said. This time I've had to translate the verb phronen as think in order to make the play on words intelligible in English. phronen is to be capable, to know how to do something properly and actually do it. Elsewhere we've called this to be prudent, to be capable. But here there's an expression, megaphronen, which means to have a big head, to think big, to think one is better than one actually is. So Socrates is asking whether someone who is entirely incapable in a particular techne, can he think that he is the best at that techne, or at least have a big head about it? And Lysis rightly thinks that one shouldn't have a big head about things where one is incompetent. Ed arasu didaskalu de upophrones. Aletheia. But if you are in need of a teacher, you're not yet capable. True. Ud ara megalophron per aphron eti. Ma die feo Socrates umoidoke. Socratic wordplay has now reached its peak, so before I translate the sentence, I'm going to have to explain the two key words which Socrates is playing with. Megalophron is the adjective cognate with the term we've already seen, megaphronen, to think big. Megalophron, however, is thinking big in a positive sense, meaning someone noble, high-minded, while in a negative sense it does have that haughty, arrogant meaning, to think one is better than one actually is. The other term here is aphron, which is completely negative. It means senseless, witless. In the context, this is derived from the notion that in particular technai, Lysis is incompetent. Incompetence does not mean he is senseless or witless, but there we are, this is what we have. So the sentence is, therefore you are not megalophron, high-minded or arrogant, if indeed you're still senseless, witless. The logic here is that you cannot possibly think big if you can't think at all. The idea then is that in the technai where Lysis is incompetent, he is not high-minded. He cannot possibly be high-minded because he lacks the mind with which to be high. And therefore, we may conclude he should not be resentful if he is being controlled by slaves and hired hands. Indeed, Lysis himself answers, "By Zeus," he said, Socrates, "it doesn't seem to me." That is to say, he agrees that he isn't high-minded in those technai where he is incompetent. Socrates may have put Lysis in his place, but he's done it in a very sophistic way.